staying lean all year round has a certain caveat. And this is something that happens to all of us in our journey, right? And this is why I designed this the way that I have, because this is probably the thing that makes you knock off course the most. And I don't like to use this term because it is a bit relative, which I'll explain in a minute. But this is all about motivation today and how to basically make sure that you are on track for 365 days of the year, to make sure that you're enjoying your life, you're staying healthy, you're staying leaner, and you're not spiraling off track. Now, it's inevitable that we will drop off after a certain point. It's just what happens. You know, we can sit here and pretend that it doesn't happen, but in reality, it does happen. And if you're feeling like that now, that's totally okay and totally normal. And today I am going to show you how we can fix it. Now, first of all, we have two different things to speak about here. One is internal motivation and another one is external motivation. Now, I'm going to explain both in a really simple way, just so that, you know, you're not here for ages. But essentially, the internal motivation is the why you want to do what you do. Now, if you've been through the process with me, you will know that I'm very big on goal setting and really getting to the why you want to do what you want to do, okay? And a very quick story. Years ago when I was in the gym, I had a guy come up to me and he wanted to program, and I asked him why he wanted to do what he wanted to do, and he wanted to say, I just want to get bigger. I just want to get, stronger. But then I asked again, why do you want to get bigger and stronger? And I was like, I don't know, just kind of do. And again, I asked again, why? And once I kept digging and digging and digging, it got to the point where I actually said to me, do you know what? I'll be honest with you. My girlfriend is a little bit bigger than me and I'm not strong enough to lift her up. And it embarrasses me and I really want to be able to provide for her. And he then told me, a very long story about why he wanted to do what he wanted to do. And he actually lasted probably 6 months in the gym, more than he would have been if he wasn't honest with his goal. Now, you don't have to share that with me necessarily, but it's very important that you understand why you want to do what you want to do. So your internal is very important to ask, why. So just remember that. You would have, again, been through this process. You would hopefully know your why, but really, really important, Is it because you want your kids to be, to see you as a superhero and you can be able to play with them and you don't want them to call you, fatter, which has been said before? Or, do you want to do it for yourself? Do you want to feel good? Do you want to heal your inner child a little bit and be stronger and the man that you want to provide for you when you were a kid? That's very in-depth and very personal, but it's a very important why. And that is the backbone of your motivation throughout the whole process. Now, the second one is external. Now, this is stuff I like to call that just helps knock us on course a little bit when we are a little bit unmotivated on a cold, dark Wednesday. At the time of recording this, I'm actually going through a process where I've been struggling to get into the gym for the last 2 weeks. So the external stuff has been very handy to use, which is kind of like a break glass for emergency type of thing. You can do it with like a new playlist, like a new gym playlist or a specific YouTube video or community or, whichever helps you just to get in the door a little bit. External can't be relied on long term. It's just using it when you need to. So how this looks really is, like I said, the internal just really helps us to push forward and is the backbone of the entire process. It gets us off the mark, like putting fuel in your car. No fuel, your car's not going anywhere. And that's kind of what, internal motivation is. External motivation is exactly the same, but it's just going to help you stay on track. It's just going to pull you a little bit. So how this looks in a kind of year setting, for example, let's say on this graph here, you've got where you are now to where the end goal is. Let's say it takes 365 days. The backbone of the whole thing is going to be the internal motivation, so really remembering why you are doing what you're doing. And then the external stuff, as you start to drop down a little bit in motivation, which again happens, that's then when you, use the external stuff a little bit more. Now, one really cool thing and very useful and effective thing that you can do is with the internal motivation, we sometimes forget it unless it's a really strong feeling. So one thing I would recommend for you to do is to get a whiteboard. They're really cheap on Amazon or whatever. And write down why you want to do what you want to do and put it where you are the most. So if you're working in an office, put it on your office desk or something. If you work from home or you're at home a lot or you tend to probably be less motivated when you get home, put it in the room where you are the most, maybe the bathroom or something. Now, sometimes that can be a bit too vulnerable, and some people don't like to share their goals. So what you could also do is you could have your phone notes as a background on your phone, or you can download a sticky app, or I think if you've got an iPhone, you can change your widgets to like a specific note. So every time you open your phone, your internal is there. I think it's very, very, very useful, and I do recommend that you do that, especially when you are kind of starting your journey or kind of midway through your journey, because it really makes a hell of a difference. You know, it takes a split moment to go from unmotivated to instantly motivated if you have the right thing in place. And the phone screen thing is really good because, you know, you're always on our phone. We see it multiple times a day. So it's always important to kind of have that, all right? The external stuff could be anything from a specific YouTube playlist, like a motivational one, which I have in my community group if you've seen it. Same with a Spotify one. You know, do you like rock music? Do you like dance music? Whatever you do, put the headphones in. Community again is a big one, so being around other people that are like you is also very externally motivating as well. So it's just about knowing when and when you need to use these motivations. But the important thing really here is, if you're feeling this, please talk to me, because then we can come up with a plan, separately to be able to do that. So I think overall, what I would say to you is get your goal on your phone notes or a whiteboard, and make a note of some of the external stuff that gives you a bit of motivation, all right? If you have any questions, you know where I am, and let me know.